Peace, peace. Welcome back to the channel. I am the artist and creator of Illis Crochet. You guys can find me on Instagram and on Etsy. Those links are in the video. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe. If you are new to the channel and a new subscriber, thank you. Thank you for joining me and welcome. Now, we're going to be crocheting some cute little amigurumi food products. I did the video on the dill pickle yesterday, and today we're going to be doing this cute little chocolate bar. Okay, this pattern is from Amigurumi Eats, which is here, and this book is by Allison Hoffman, and she has a website, and I believe she has Instagram as well. And I'll put those links there as well. Okay. So let's jump right in. So the video is not too long for you guys. Okay. So I'm going to open here. And I talked a little bit about this book yesterday when I did the other pattern. And it is broken into sections for breakfast, lunch, dinner, sweets, and some little extras in the back. Um, all the patterns have the option where you can add scents or smells to the crochet food if you want to. Okay, it's an option. All right, so we're going to do the chocolate bar today. This is what the picture looks like in the book here. Okay, and the skill level says easy. Let's turn this over. No, I'll put it this way. Skill level says easy, and we're going to use 3 different colors of yarn: the red, silver or gray, and brown for chocolate. The pattern says we can also use white yarn if we want to do white chocolate bar. Okay, so here's my yarn. I'm using 4-ply worsted weight. Okay, I'll put this back here. Most of the patterns in the book are asking for a 3.2 millimeter hook. I prefer to use a 4.0 because I have carpal tunnel, so I don't go any smaller than this. Okay, and I like the clover hooks here because of the soft grip. There's my dog in the back. Okay, we also need a yarn needle or tapestry needle. Here it is. You can also use a stitch marker if you like. We got our scissors ready to go. And we also need our fiber fill. So here it is. Okay. It also says that we need some craft glue or gel formula glue. That's for the letters. Now, the pattern is also calling for white felt. So it's asking us to actually cut out the letters from a sheet of white felt. These letters that you see on my bar are iron-on letters, okay? And I'm going to show you those in a second and how to put those on. I use the iron-on letters on a lot of my crochet things. It's just quicker, you know. So I'll show you how to do that, okay? Let's get started. We're going to take our hook and we are going to use the silver color first, which is going to act as the wrapper of our chocolate bar. I'm going to do a magic circle and put my hook in here. Okay, it says chain 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Single crochet in the second chain from the hook. And in the next 6 chains, we're doing single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 3 single crochet in the last chain. Oops, dropped it. 1, 2, and Now it says working on the opposite side of the foundation. So this is our foundation. We're going to work on this side now, and we're going to single crochet in the next 7. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 3 single crochet in the beginning. 1, 2, and 3. It says we should have 20 stitches. It says do not join at the end of each round unless instructed. Place a stitch marker at the beginning of the round. I'm not really a fan of stitch markers, but that's just me. You know, you do what works for you. Um, yeah. Okay, rounds 2 and 3, it says single crochet in each stitch around. And this pattern is not telling us to chain up at the end of the round. You know, I tend to do that because I don't like stitch markers. That's usually what I end up doing is chaining one. But, you know, you work it what's best for you. Okay, we're going to do 1 single crochet each stitch around. This is row 2. Okay, so we're just going around. And what happens is when you chain up one and you're crocheting in the round, you'll end up with those visible seams in your project. Um, you know, so it really depends on how you want to do it. You know, I realized I should follow the pattern when I'm doing these tutorials, but I'm a bit of a rebel, you know, and I think that when you know, once you get used to crocheting and you've been doing it for a long time, I've been crocheting for more than 10 years now. So, you know, you can just kind of do your own thing and improvise. If something doesn't work for you, there's nothing wrong with deviating from the pattern. You know what I'm saying? Um, and making your own pattern, of course. I see a lot of people, especially on Etsy, that are making a lot of money from just selling patterns, you know? Okay, we're at the end of row 3. So all I did was single crochet all the way around. Okay, now we are in row 4. Now, here is where I am going to deviate from the pattern because the pattern is telling us to do slip stitches all around. I don't like doing that because what happens is I end up with, you know, these very flat stitches that I can't go into with the hook. But that's just me. Okay, so if you have this book and you're following the pattern to the letter, you know, go for it. But what I'm going to do is I'm not going to slip stitch. I'm just going to single crochet around because it's just easier for me. Okay, so I'm on row 4. I'm just doing more single crochets all the way around. And I get it. I understand the reason for it because it will make um, the wrapper part of the piece appear really flat. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. Okay. Okay. And we are at the end of row 4. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now, row 5 through, oh, I was supposed to change the color. Okay, well, we're going to do it now. All right. So at the end of this row, we're going to change the color. Before I pull this slip stitch, so before I finish row 4, we're going to change the color here. And I'm going to cut it. So I'm going to cut this silver. There we go. And now we are going to switch to our red. If you want to do a different color for the wrapper, feel free, go right ahead. So I'm going to put this through here. And I'm going to pull it. And then we will start row 5. So row 5 through 16, we're just going all the way around with single crochets. That's it. I like to hide these little, see these little extras here? I'm going to lay them on top of this row, and we're going to hide them as we go around. Okay, this is row 5, and we're only doing single crochets all the way around. All the way around. Okay, this is row 5. And you see how I just hid those tails? I just hid the tail, the red one. Now I'm going to hide all of this silver tail in the row. Okay. All right, that is row 5. And we're going to do that single crochet all the way around for until we get to row 16. So if you don't want to listen to me talk, you can go right ahead and fast forward until we get to row 16. Right now I'm on row 6, and we're just doing single crochets all the way around in our red. Sorry for the background noise. Okay, row 7. Okay, row 8. You guys don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe, and leave me some comments. Let me know if there's a video that you want me to do, if you want me to show you how to do a particular stitch. Yesterday we did the bobble stitch, right? Let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about. I'm going to do a video reviewing hooks, some of my favorite hooks. I like a good comfortable hook, you know. So I don't do well with aluminum hooks. Like I said, I do have carpal tunnel, and that comes from years of painting, braiding hair, crocheting. I'm always working with my hands. We are now on row 9. Okay, row 9. This is my clover hook, which is one of my favorite hooks. I've been using this especially for amigurumi and any little hook that I need, the smaller size ones. I like this clover with the rubber grip. I do like the soft touch clover, which is that tan goldish color hook with the really flat handle. I really like those, and I was using those for a while. Um, but what I noticed about them is that the more I used it, we're on row 10, the more I used it, the tip of the hook would get kind of scratched. You could kind of see some of the surface of the metal rubbing off from use. And what happens is it will actually affect the yarn. It'll cause the yarn to kind of split more. I mean, that's just my experience. That's what was happening to me. And so I don't use them as much as I used to. But I find myself replacing the Clover soft touch hooks a lot more frequently than I do with these. We're on row 11. Okay. So let me tell you about my crochet journey. Um, I am sort of a retired art teacher. I was an art teacher for 14 years in a public school system. So I had a classroom. And even years ago when I was really young, I wanted to learn how to crochet or knit, just anything. I really like yarn. And I would see people crocheting or knitting, and I was like, wow, I want to learn how to do that, right? But I didn't have anybody to teach me. Now I have, you know, women in my family who know how to sew, they know how to make quilts, things like that. But no one was actually crocheting. We're on row 12, okay? Or working with any yarn. And so I decided I was going to teach myself. So I went to the library. I got the books just like this. And, just basic beginner books, how to, magic circle, all those things. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure it out. I was like, what are they talking about? How do I do this? I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know what these abbreviations were. STHDC. What is this? Right? um, and the knitting was worse because then I had two hooks. I had two needles, right? And I got the books and I was like, what are they saying? What do they want me to do? So that didn't work out. And for both things, for the knitting and the crocheting, then I went and got myself a video. So again, I went and bought a video. This is like early 2000s, right? So I went and got some videos from the library. And I said, okay, let me figure this out. And I got it. But still, I did learn how to knit, just basic beginner knitting. I did learn from the videos, but it was so complicated, I wasn't having fun. I was like, I don't want, So I went back to the crochet, got another video, and that's how I learned how to crochet from, DVDs from the library. This is before YouTube was popular. And then I was just doing basic things, squares, rectangles, scarves, just, basic back and forth, making, squares or whatever. And then I was married. I was pregnant with my son, and I wanted to make things for him, for my baby, right? So then I was doing hats, and it wasn't until years later that I actually learned how to increase and decrease. And that completely changed my world, right? I'm gonna cut this little tail that's sticking out here. So I don't have to do it later. Learning how to increase and decrease just opened up a whole new world for me. And what row are we on now? 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, we're on 13. Okay. And so I was just kind of practicing, making all these little projects at home, and they started to pile up. So I had all these projects, just laying around the house. And I did some vendor events where I was trying to sell my stuff, and the stuff really wasn't selling. And then I decided I wanted to learn how to make crochet jewelry, right? So I did a search online for crochet jewelry, and the first thing that came up was link to Etsy. And that's how I found out about Etsy. So I did a couple crochet jewelry things, little necklaces and earrings. I still like the earrings. I still like doing them. They don't always sell. Um, but yeah. So that's how I started with that. And when I would go to the vendor events, the sales were really slow. And I said, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to sell my stuff on Etsy. And that's how I started that. And I will say that with Etsy, I started the my own Etsy page, and it was 6 months before I had a sale. Okay? So those of you who are just starting with Etsy, you really got to be patient. Um, I don't, maybe unless if you're selling patterns, maybe things will move a little faster for you, but you really kind of have to have a niche or, a target audience that you know is going to gravitate towards what you make, you know. Um, okay, one more. I was counting the rows. So yeah, that's how I got started. I was so happy when I got my first sale, you know. And for me, I would rather I have sales all day, every day on Etsy. And I would rather do that than to, carry all my stuff to a vendor event and sit for 7 hours. But that's just me. Because I don't, you know, some people sell stuff that people buy right away. And with me, and I make baby stuff. So sometimes it sells, sometimes it does. It's okay. All right, so we are at the end of row 16. We have made our red wrapper of the candy bar, okay? So row 17, again, is telling us to slip stitch around. You can do that if you want. I don't like slip stitching because it makes it harder for me to get into the stitches on the next row. It makes it flat, okay? So for 17, it's also telling us that we need to switch back to the silver color. So I'm going to cut this, cut the red, and then I'm going to go back to the silver or the gray. Okay, let me pull this out so we can finish the row with the silver starting. So I'm at the end of row 16. We're doing a single crochet, so before I finish it, I'm going to change my color. I'm going to lay that gray on top and pull it through. You guys see that? And then I'm going to just tighten this gray, and we are starting row 17 with the silver. Okay, I'm going to cut this a little bit more just to get it out of the way. Okay, we're on row 17. I'm doing single crochets all the way around until we get to the end of row 17. So yeah, once I learned how to increase and decrease, oh my goodness, I was making everything. I was making baby shoes. I was making clothes for dolls, um, cozies, wine bottle covers, all types of things. Hats. That's when I learned. Really, knowing how to increase and decrease is what allowed me to make things in the round, crocheting in the round. And so that just opened up a whole world for me. Okay, we're on row 18, single crochet all the way around. Okay, here we go, row 18. Okay, and at the end of row 18, we're going to change the color again. All right, so let me go back so I can fix that. Row 18 is telling us to change the color to C. That's our chocolate color, okay? So I'm going to cut this. We are now changing the color at the end of row 18. So I'm changing to the brown chocolate. Okay. And now I'm going to drop that gray and pick up the brown. Okay. We are now on row 19. Row 19 says work in the back loops only, singles crochet around. Okay, so here we go. And I'm going to lay these extra strands of yarn on top so I can hide them as I go. Back loop only. Back loop only. And that's going to help us make our wrapper of the candy bar later. Back loop only. Okay, all the way around. Okay, at the end of row 19. Okay, so now we're on row 20. This is what it looks like. So for 20 through 24, we're just going to single crochet all the way around. Okay, so this is row 20. 21, 22, 23, and the last one, 24. And if you are using the iron-on letters, I would, plug up your iron so that you're ready when it's time to put those letters on. And I'll show you real quick when we get to that. Okay, so we're at the end of row 24. This is what we have so far. Okay, and now it says we're going to leave a long tail. So I'm going to cut this. Now, if you are using, I would say if you are using any letters at all, even if you choose to glue your letters on, or if you choose to iron them on, I would do it now while your piece is flat, okay? So this is what the iron-on letters look like, and I use these all the time, okay? So just kind of line them up evenly, and you can change the name, whatever you want it to be. All right. So put your letters there, and then if you are using the iron, you're going to place a cloth over this and then press your iron down with the heat for 20 seconds. Depends on what kind of letters you have, but usually it's 20 seconds, and then pull your iron up, wait a few minutes, and then go back again and do another 20 seconds. And then you're going to peel this plastic off, and the letters will be stuck to your piece, okay? So I'm just going to cut some of these little pieces that are sticking out here where I joined, you know. Okay, so now I'm not going to pull the iron out. So I'm going to start stuffing. We're going to stuff the chocolate bar with our fiber fill. And you make that as fluffy as you want, as full as you want it. I used quite a bit on the first one, so I can get that down in there. Okay. And then it says to kind of flatten it. So flatten it out like so. A little bit more. Okay, flatten, flatten. And now I'm going to put my needle here. Remember, this book is also saying we can add a scent or a smell, which we would have done before the stuffing. Okay, now we're going to sew. So here's my needle. I attached it to the long tail. And now I'm going to start at the top here and just go through both loops on each side. Back and forth. We're sewing. Make sure you get all of them so that your stuffing doesn't come out. There you go. Okay. And then we're going to make a knot. So I'm going to go in here. Make a loop. Put my needle through. Make a knot. And pull it tight. And that's not going anywhere. Okay, so then I'm going to take this tail and hide it. So I'm going to go through the brown a couple times, in and out. And then I'm going to hide it by cutting it. Okay. And there's our bar. Okay. All right. Now, the last thing we want to do is, and also I forgot to tell you, the pattern calls for the use of safety eyes, or you can stitch the eyes and the mouth into your piece. You would have inserted the safety eyes before the stuffing. These are the safety eyes I have. I'm not going to use them today because they're pretty big, you know, but you can put them in. And then maybe do an embroidered mouth. Okay, so those are the eyes. Now we're going to work on the wrapper edge, and that'll be the last part we're going to do. So remember here in row 18 where we did those back loops only in this silver color. I'm just cutting those little loose pieces. Remember where we did that? Here, and it kind of created like a little ridge, right? So I'm going to put my hook anywhere in this silver of round 18. And now we're going to join the silver or gray yarn again into round 18. But now we are in the front loops only. Okay, and now we're going to do single crochet all the way around. It should be 20. Okay, so I'm going to do that all the way around row 18, front loops only. And I'm hiding that little tail as I go around. You guys see that? Front loop only. Oh, that's where I joined it, so let me see if I can get in there. Okay, there we go. So we finished that. And now we're going to close that round slip stitch. Why is this sticking out? Okay, so we just made like a little ridge here. Okay, now next row, it says single crochet in the next 10. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now it says 3 double crochet in the next, I'm sorry, 2 half double in the next stitch. 2 half double crochet in the next stitch. So this is 1 and 2. Okay, now it says 3 double crochet in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 2 half double in the next. 1, 2, slip stitch in the next. 3 half double in the next. 1, 2, 3. 2 single crochet in the next. And single crochet in the next 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then it says slip stitch to join. Okay. Fasten off and weave in the ends. So I'm going to cut this. Okay. There we go. And now I'm going to take my needle so we can hide this last tail. And I'll just go through the gray. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut these little pieces sticking out here. Okay. So there is our wrapper. That's what it looks like. And you can fold this down. Okay. And there is our candy bar. Remember, we would have put the letters here on the red, but there is our candy bar. And you can go in and just cut any of these little tails that are sticking out there. All right, voila, we are finished with the chocolate candy bar. Cool. All right. Peace, peace. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, come back and see me. We'll do some more tutorials and we will talk about uses of hooks and different yarns, and we'll look at some more fun, cool books to make our projects from. All right, peace to you. Thank you guys for watching.